Hello everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Today we're diving into a topic that can feel so confusing, but it is so important when it comes to fat loss, energy levels, and overall health. We're going to be talking about insulin resistance. Maybe you've heard the term tossed around. Maybe you are just wondering if this could be why fat loss feels so hard for you. Either way, by the end of this episode, you will have a crystal clear understanding of what insulin resistance actually is, how is it affecting your metabolism and your energy levels, why it makes maybe fat loss harder for you, and lastly, and most importantly, what you can do to manage that and reverse it. So let's get into it. So number one, I want to first cover really what insulin resistant or what insulin is. First thing first. So insulin is a hormone produced by your pancreas, and its main job is to regulate your blood sugar levels. Every time you eat, your body breaks down food into glucose, basically sugar that enters your bloodstream. Insulin acts almost like, I want you to imagine it almost like acts like a key, right? Helping glucose move out of your blood and into your cells. It almost like unlock the cells and lets the sugar go in. And what happens is that, where this is happening is where it can be then used for energy or stored for later. So here is the thing where kind of like things get a little tricky. If you are, for example, constantly eating like too many refined carbs, too much sugars, or really high calorie foods, what happens is that your body has to pump out more and more and more insulin to keep up. And over time, your cells can become less sensitive to insulin. And this is what we call insulin resistance. So it's almost like, I want you to imagine, it's almost like your cells are saying, hey, we are full, no more glucose, please. So what happens is that glucose stays in your bloodstream, your pancreas keeps pumping out even more and more insulin to compensate, and the cycle continues. High insulin levels and high blood sugar are literally a recipe for weight gain, for fatigue, so if you've been feeling really tired, and at the end, even more serious health issues if it's being left unchecked. Now, how insulin resistance actually impact your body? Because now when we know what insulin is and its function, what does it actually do in your body? What does it actually do if you're, or what does it do to your body if you're insulin resistant? So there's a few things. When your insulin levels are really high, your body is in a fat storage mode. Insulin pretty much tells your body to store excess glucose as fat, especially in your abdominal area, and this is why people with insulin resistance often notice weight gain around their belly. Another thing that happens is also that if your insulin levels are really high, it prevents your body from accessing stored fat for energy. So even if you are exercising or you're eating less, your body can really struggle to burn fat efficiently. Another thing is that with insulin resistance, your cells aren't getting the glucose they need for energy, and this can leave you feeling really fatigued even if you're eating enough. So you might eat, but then you always feel super tired. That's because the energy cannot get into your cells to give you the energy, right? It's floating around. So again, if you're noticing this, that could be maybe a reason, but again, I'm not giving you like any professional advice here. I'm just describing the issue. So if you are thinking that that could be your issue, then go and maybe talk to your doctor, get some testing done, and see if that could be a potentially also reason why you cannot lose weight. Another thing is that with high insulin and blood sugar swings, these can cause very, very intense cravings, especially for like sugary or carb heavy foods. Like if you're like, oh my God, like I cannot stop eating, I cannot stop thinking about these cookies, and then you go and you eat the whole pack of cookies, that could be why. This is literally just your body's way of, trying to get more quick energy, but it's really just feeding the cycle. Over time, insulin resistance can lead to more serious issues like prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, and even heart diseases. So the one good news here, if you might be like, oh shoot, like that's totally me, or this is like something that I think that I'm struggling with, the good news is that we can reverse it. It's reversible? I don't even know. With a lifestyle changes. So that's a good news. So now, how we can actually manage and reverse the insulin resistance. I'm going to talk about the solutions, because insulin resistance isn't a life sentence. With the right strategies, you can 100% manage it, and even like I said, you can reverse it. So number one, we're going to talk about balanced meals. I know that a lot of people feel very confused when you're like, what balanced meal actually looks like. Especially, I know that if we're dieting, we're jumping from one diet to another, constantly trying these new trends, this new keto and carnivores, and eat this, don't eat that. Eventually you literally got to the point where you're like, how balanced meal even look like? I don't even know anymore. So I'm gonna walk you through that. So balanced meals has a few components. So number one, we're going to talk about fiber. Fiber is the king. Fiber slows down digestion and glucose absorptions. We have two different fibers. So we're going to talk about soluble fiber that is found in like oats, beans, lentils, some fruits, other stuff like that. And it's a form soluble fiber forms a gel-like substance in the digestive tracts. This is hard, like, oh my God, look at my English now. Which slows down your absorption of glucose into the bloodstream. And this will prevent rapid spikes and crashes in blood sugar. That's the soluble fiber. Now we have the insoluble fiber, which is found usually in like whole grains, veggies, or even nuts. This adds bulk to stool, it slows down your digestion, and it helps maintain steady energy release. So super important. So when you're gonna look at your plate, you want to always look at these three components that I'm gonna cover. So the first one was fiber. You want to have fiber on your plate. Number two are healthy fats. These healthy fats are, they pretty much delays stomach emptying and lower glycemic response, which means that fats slows down gastric emptying, meaning that food stays in your stomach for longer, and this delay how quickly glucose enters the bloodstream. So dietary fats does not directly affect blood sugar, but it helps almost like blunt the insulin response by reducing how quickly carbs are broken down and absorbed. Healthy fats, you might be like, okay, what are the healthy fats? So my favorite ones are avocado. I love avocados. So healthy fats are like avocados. You can think like nuts, seeds, or like olive oil, avocado oils, and they will improve insulin sensitivity over time, which helps the bodies manage the blood sugar more efficiently. And last but not least is your protein. So now we have a fiber, you have the healthy fats, and now we're going to add the protein. So protein stimulates insulin and it reduces blood sugar spikes. Protein essentially has a minimal direct impact on blood sugar, but it stimulates the release of insulin, especially animal-based proteins. This insulin response helps shuttle glucose into cells, preventing excess sugar from lingering into bloodstream. So another thing that you also want to remember, that I always say that protein also increases satiety by stimulating hunger hormones. And that means that the likelihood of you overeating is way lower. And obviously you're gonna have less, the blood sugar swings if you are not overeating. So make sure that you are having enough protein in your diet. I want to say if you're eating 5 meals a day, always focus on having like the 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal, and for sure that you're going to hit your daily goal. One thing that I'm going to also talk about how to reverse this insulin resistance or how to manage it. There's a few things that I want to cover. So number one is that you want to eat consistently. Skipping meals, and I see that so often that people say, oh, I'm skipping meals, I'm fasting because X, Y, and Z. I've had just someone talking to me saying that I skip my breakfast because if I don't eat right away when I wake up, then I delayed, the time that I have my first meal, and that helps me to lose weight. It only is helping you to lose weight because you're just skipping the whole meal that could be worth of like 500 to 700 calories. So you are at the end of the day putting yourself into a calorie deficit most likely. That's why you're losing weight. It's not because you're not eating breakfast. And skipping meals or going long periods without eating can cause blood sugar crashes, making insulin resistance worse. So eating every 3 to 4 hours can really help stabilize your blood sugar levels. So again, don't think that skipping meals or skipping breakfast is the reason why you're losing weight. It's just mainly because you're putting yourself into a calorie deficit. So no reason to do that. Because you can create a calorie deficit and eat breakfast at the same time. Another thing you want to focus on is also moving your body, because exercise is one of the most effective ways to improve insulin sensitivity. Here is why, guys. When you exercise, your muscles use glucose for energy, even without the help of insulin. Strength training is especially so powerful because it increases your muscle mass, which helps your body process glucose more efficiently. So more muscles you have, better. So go and lift weights. Managing your stress is also another thing, because high cortisol levels from stress can worsen insulin resistance. So incorporating stress management techniques like maybe, deep breathing or doing yoga, or even just going for walks and make it as a routine. Just put maybe headphones on, maybe listen some podcasts, maybe listen, some nice relaxing music and go for a nice walk. If you're in Canada, most likely you're not going to go for a walk because it's -20 as of right now when I'm recording this episode, but you can maybe just go on a treadmill and do the same thing. But again, managing stress can be really, really, really huge and makes a huge difference. Another thing, and that's something that a lot of people underestimate, is getting enough sleep, because sleep is when your body resets and repairs itself. So, and lack of sleep increases both cortisol and insulin resistance. So you want to really try to get at least 7 to 10, I wish 10, 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep every night. I know that it's sometimes not easy. I know that a lot of you are parents and you have, kids to take care of, and they keep waking you up at night or other things. So I know that it's not always the easiest thing, but just keep in mind that sleep has such a huge impact on everything. So try to get at least 7 to 8 hours. Another thing, surprise, surprise, cut back on sugary and processed foods, you guys. I cannot even tell you how much of the impact it made, even for myself, because when I struggled with, food, and I had a horrible relationship with food, and I was struggling to lose weight, I would always have things in my diet, not necessarily processed, not necessarily fast foods. I've never been big fast food eater, but I would be having a lot of artificial sweeteners and a lot of processed foods in form of pancakes and protein bars and things like that. processed foods is not good for you. Foods high in sugar or refined carbs cause the biggest blood sugar spikes. So if you are, like, say, I don't know, drinking pop, try to swap the sugary drinks for water. You can also make like a tea, or you can put some cucumbers or some like fruits into your water if you don't like to drink plain water. Instead of white breads and high sugary refined carbs, maybe have like a whole grain breads over the white. Focus on natural sweet stuff from fruits instead of added sugar. So if you like, I don't know, if you like a yogurt and you're dumping in strawberry jam that is full of sugar, maybe just swap it for fresh strawberries instead. Things like that really can make a huge difference. Now, here's let's just quickly talk about why balancing your blood sugar is so important, so you understand why I'm breaking this all down for you. So stable blood sugar means that you are going to have more steady energy throughout the day, which is what you want. I hear it all the time that you crashes after the gym, after the lunch, like you have lunch and you crash, or even feeling super drained first thing in the morning when you wake up. So if you're gonna really, really focus on balancing your blood sugar, you're gonna have so much more energy throughout the day. You're gonna have way less cravings for sugary and processed foods. Again, when I cut out a lot of processed foods, all of a sudden, I didn't even crave my pancakes anymore. I didn't even crave protein bars that I thought that I was addicted to for the longest time. I just simply focus on eating whole foods, and now I just love the way of eating, the way I eat. I just simply enjoy it. It's not that I cannot have protein bars, but I don't want them. And also important thing is that if you balance your sugar and you focus on all of these tips, your body can burn fat for fuel instead of storing it. And that's most likely what you want, right? When you balance your blood sugar, you're not just maintaining insulin resistance, you are improving overall your health and making fat loss so much easier. So if you've been struggling with this stubborn weight gain, with low energy, those crashes, or constant cravings that you just cannot stop eating those cookies, it might be time to take a closer look at your insulin and find out maybe if you're insulin resistant. And like I said, the great news is that the small consistent changes can have a huge impact, and you can make the change today. You can go and instead of having the pop, drink water. Instead of having the white bread when you're making your turkey sandwich, swap it for whole grain, and you will see difference. You just have to be consistent. So if this was helpful, let me know. I'm so happy that you guys are tuning into these episodes. I've been getting so many positive comments and messages on social media saying that you guys enjoying these. So I hope that I'm helping you on your fitness journey, whether you are my client or just someone who enjoys listening my Czech accent. Whatever it is, I'm super, super grateful for you. Thank you for taking the time to listen this episode. If you found this valuable, please make sure you will share it with anyone. This is really the way how we can grow my podcast. And until next time, I'll talk to you soon and have the best day of your life. Bye.